If people only knew. That's one of
If
the questions in the connection cards is like, what's something that people don't know about you? I'm like, that I'm a mess sometimes. Like,
I wouldn't go that far. I wouldn't go that
I
far.
know.
I would just say it's really hard to keep track of an Emily's mind. Hey, what's happening, you guys? And welcome to the Proclivity podcast. I am your host, Joel Cochran, and I'm here with my co-host, Emily Rodella. And today we are here to talk to you about mastering your evening routine. We're going to talk to you about the importance of an evening routine, what it should look like, and then we're also going to tell you how we wind down our evening routines, which is going to be different. Mine's a little bit different than Emily's, which is going to be different than yours. Yet we're going to give you the foundation today of an evening routine. And some of these things maybe you're doing, maybe you're not. Maybe it's going to be really advanced stuff. You're like, oh, what? What are we talking about? This technology to help me wind down? And there's going to be some really base level stuff too. So strap in. We're going to have a ton of fun today. This is the Proclivity podcast. We like to have a good time, particularly when Emily's had full blood coffee. Emily, how are you feeling?
I feel great.
Damn right you feel great.
Yeah, thanks for your patience, Joel. My brain's just everywhere this morning. It's just fine.
It is fine. It's great. Like I say, I'm just riding the wave. Each day I come in, it's exciting. It's not boring. It's not like I'm like, it's going to be the same thing over and over again. I'm like, who knows what's going to happen when I walk through this door? And I'm just like, give it to me. I mean, you changed subjects. You had 3 different subjects that you talked to me about in less than 30 seconds this morning.
This is, for those of you who don't know, my brain works that way.
It's a beautiful thing. All right, let's talk about evening routines, shall we?
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Let's dive in. We're first going to start off, guys, talking about evening routines and why they are so vital to your health. I mean, vital. We're going to give you a little insider tip here. Okay, the Proclivity method, which is our staple program, starts off week number 1 is structure and sleep. The structure part is to get you ready to be able to get sleep. So, Coach Emily, I'm curious, how would you define an evening routine and why does it matter?
Good question. I would define an evening routine as something that's going to set you up for success for the next day. I tell people all the time, if you want to have a good day, it actually starts the night before. Right? Because sleep, we say sleep is the elixir of life. It is foundational for how you feel, think, crave, react throughout that next day and the following days. And it involves an evening routine involves specific practices to help get your body in a calm state to prepare for the good sleep.
And the key word here is routine. Routine is something that we do daily, again and again, to be able to set us up. Now, we know that routines are good. We're talking about the evening routine. And we're really talking about sleep and how vital sleep is. We have a podcast on sleep. If you guys really want to dive into sleep, it might be like episode 40 or something. Yet real quick, why is sleep so vital? What are some of the statistics out there when it comes to sleep and how important it is?
Well, your blood sugar, for one, immediately, if the poor night's sleep, usually that's 6 hours or under for most people, but your blood sugar is dysregulated. It basically shows the signs of prediabetes or even diabetes for some people after one night of poor sleep, which then, if people don't know what that even means or what that feels like the next day, like I mentioned before, an increase in cravings, energy roller coaster, you tend to make more poor decisions, brain fog, all of the blood sugar symptoms that you may not recognize immediately that are affecting us in our choices. Right? If you're like, man, it's just so hard to make better choices with food. Well, that's definitely one of them. If you're getting poor sleep, it's going to make it a lot harder. And energy in general, right? We know this. If we're not getting enough deep sleep, enough REM sleep, our body's not recovering from the physical activity the day before. It's also not recovering mentally or emotionally from the day before if we're having stress or any kind of emotional or mental fatigue. So that's super important. And that basically covers all of the main subjects. What would you add?
Well, I mean, some of the like nitty gritty numbers that tend to stick out for me is that when you have less than 6 hours of sleep, you tend to eat on average 300 more calories a day. Okay, so guys, if you're out there and you're like, oh, I get like 6.5 hours of sleep, cool. Let's just say that you're getting 300 calories additional a day. Okay, so now a week, what is that? 2,100 calories? Okay, a month, what is that? 8,400 calories more a month? Okay, a year, what is that? We're talking a ton of additional calories, you guys. And people wonder why. They're like, I don't know. It just seems like it just keeps packing on year after year. Duh. Of course it does. You're not getting enough sleep. All right. So, I mean, that's one that sticks out for me. 40% increase in sugar cravings. 40%. Basically,
There's
flip a
that blood
coin.
sugar.
Yeah, the blood sugar level. You're flipping a coin of whether you're going to hammer down an entire sleeve of Oreos. Oh, I wonder why we're eating 300 calories on average, you guys. That's average. That means you could be doing 500 more calories a day. That's going to add up super quick. And then this is for my fellas out there and ladies, honestly, is that when you have a decrease, in sleep, you're averaging 6 hours again. 70% of all the weight that you do lose is going to be lean muscle mass. Okay, this is an important factor because your body wants to hold on to fat when it feels that it is in a sympathetic state constantly. When you're not getting enough rest, you're in a more elevated sympathetic state. So this is what we usually see with men. We start seeing that mid-belly fat, arms start kind of getting noodly, legs start getting noodly. And what do they tend to do? Oh, I got to lose the fat. I got to do a bunch of high intensity running, cardio, so on and so forth. And that's actually doing nothing for you.
And then it's a vicious cycle of lower and lower testosterone.
So now we're losing testosterone. We're not getting enough sleep, right? That's dysregulating our hormones. Our melatonin and cortisol levels are all whacked out. We've been doing it wrong. And now you guys are starting to see like, oh, wow, sleep's pretty darn important. Take out the pretty. No soft talk around here. Damn important. Managing those hormones, balancing that blood sugar level, sleep matters. So, did we cover that? Did we drive that home?
Yes. If you guys have more questions, please ask us.
Because we'll hammer it home even more. It's that important. That's why it's number one out of the 12 nutritional and digestive habits that we cover. Number one is sleep. Because good luck. Go ahead, cut all the calories you want. Cut away. You'll see where you get even more dysregulated in your hormones. So as soon as you're done with your cutting, bam, that weight comes back viciously. Anyways, I digress. Let's move in to the evening routine. We now know the importance of it. How do we lever sleep in the best possible facet? We're going to go through our Proclivity prescription of how to be able to get a good night's rest by having a solid evening routine. So let's go back and forth on this. We have our notes here. Let's go back and forth. You start off with the first piece of the Proclivity prescription in building out a good evening routine.
Yeah. So first thing I look at is the timing. right? So typically, there's a couple ways to do this for you, right? Usually what I start with is, okay, what's your ideal wake up time? Count back 8 hours, right? And it's going to vary person to person, but we start out with 8 hours. Back up, that's where we want to be in bed trying to sleep, right? From that wake up time to the in bed trying to sleep time. Then we go, okay, now we have a time where we want to be trying to fall asleep. Then we look at, okay, the hour before that, that's our wind down time. That's when we don't have any electronics. We want to start thinking about our phone, our computer, the TV, even a Kindle, right? Being aware of the light and the electronics in general. And in addition to that, I look at supplements, right? If you're having trouble sleeping or if you want to optimize sleep, we want to be looking at supplementation usually an hour before bed. And so we can come back to that, but we go the hour before trying to fall asleep. That's, again, minimal light, minimal electronics. We're winding down for sure. 2 hours before that, we want to start that wind down process in terms of, okay, we want to look at movement. Can we do minimal movement so we don't increase our internal body temperature? Can we avoid foods or even supplements that are going to give us more energy? And then stimulating books, TV shows, emails, Instagram if it's triggering for you, right? All the different things. We want to start avoiding those as well 2 hours before. And then 3 hours or even 4 hours before bed, that's when we want to have our last meal, right? Especially if you're having trouble with digestion or waking up in the middle of the night, we want to have our last biggest meal earlier in the evening in order for proper digestion and really good quality sleep. So that's the basic outline. Yeah, there's little things in those that we can dive deeper into as well.
Certainly. And one of the big ones, I'm the life coach, right? I'm the language guy. One of the big ones that sticks out for me that I avoid like the plague is stimulating conversations before bed. Now, this actually can tend to come up quite often in a marriage, in a relationship. You've been running around all day. This is your first opportunity, right? Kids are down. First opportunity to talk. And so we want to be very careful and very gentle with ourselves when it comes into having conversations about finances, about your in-laws, about the vacation that you haven't planned yet. Because if it's going to upregulate you, you're going to be laying in bed, pissed off at your spouse, boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever, just sitting there stewing. And so it is important to email is off, text message is off. Avoid those conversations because that's going to stimulate you up and those can be hard to unwind yourself out of. And that can really affect sleep. Do you agree?
Agreed. Yep.
So
if you can, find somewhere else in your day to have that conversation, prioritize it, whether it be in your work day, right when you get home from work, even if the kids are around, find other ways to have that conversation earlier.
And or guys, make sure you're having that conversation and you are fully present with that person in a down-regulated state. When you're trying to toss it out because one person's watching a TV show and the other person's not, that person's trying to wind down watching a TV show or they're reading their book or whatever the case is. You guys need to be on the same page when it comes to being able to have that conversation and being able to be down-regulated, not hour before bed trying to put away all the dishes and put away all the laundry and then, do a drive-by and be like, hey, what's going on with your mother? Because she's driving me crazy. Whoa. Good luck sleeping that night. Good luck sleeping that night. So the first part, guys, of creating an evening routine is having that timing. So just like Emily said, 8 hours before you want to wake up. So if I'm wanting to wake up at 6 a.m., I'm going to bed at 10. I'm in bed, ready to sleep at 10. And then you just work backwards from there, like we talked about. being able to look at and go, okay, 1 hour before that, 9 o'clock, all electronics are off. Okay. 2 hours before that, I'm avoiding any type of stimulating kind of physical, mental, emotional things. I'm
So that'd be
working
not
on
that. That'd be at 8, right? So you're saying 2 hours before
8
that time
o'clock.
of 10 p.m.
Correct. So now 8 o'clock, right? I'm really pulling myself down. I'm not working myself up. I'm not opening up emails. I'm not starting a project. I'm not putting in a load of laundry. That's upregulating. I'm going to be coming down. So maybe I am folding my laundry 2 hours before bed and I'm getting that situation, but it's downward movement, not upward. And then 3 to 4 hours before that, so 7 or 6 o'clock, we're having our meal. So taking a look at that timing, it's an easy way to write it out. We suggest that you actually write it out. It's important to be able to put it up and then put it up on your fridge. And this will help to be able to do it. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and some people use alarms as well.
Mm-hmm. Reminders.
So, good old reminders. So that's the first part. Make sure you have your timing down. Second part is lighting. Lighting is essential. Your eyeballs are the only part of your central nervous system that are outside of your body. So it's taking in a massive amount of information. And lighting is essential. Lighting is essential not just at nighttime. It's actually very essential first thing in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
So our prescription for you would be within an hour being able to get your eyeballs to the sun. That doesn't mean staring at the sun. What that means is forward movement, maybe towards the sun, or you're sitting out on the porch. You're being able to get some light to your eyeballs. Sitting inside your house, looking outside of your window doesn't work the same. Your windows are meant to block out UV rays. So you're not getting the same effect. By getting your eyeballs to the sun first thing in the morning, you're setting your clock, your sleep clock. It tells your body, when should I be releasing melatonin? When should I be releasing cortisol? So that's essential. Try to get 10 minutes. That's a walk around the block. That's it. You will, I promise you, it will set you up for your sleep later on that night.
And I will add, that's very difficult for a parent, right? Especially if it's dark out and your child wakes up at that time. There's no opportunity right for that. There are times that I will in the summer, especially on the weekends, take my child outside with me, right? And go sit in the backyard or on the front porch.
Mm-hmm.
Or again, depending on the time of the year, I wake up before my kid. I will do my workout oftentimes and go out as the sun is rising if my kid is still in bed, right? Or my husband has him, and then we trade off. So it does require some creativity if you have children in the time of the year, right? With this, when the sun comes up, but it's still doable.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And listen, don't let perfection become the enemy of progression. Oh, if I don't get my eyeballs to the sun, it's that's it. Hey, do it when you can. It will help. If 3 out of the 7 days you get it, you are helping tell your brain, oh, okay, get it. I understand. I know what time it is. All right, I know when to release cortisol, and I know when to release melatonin. So that's the beginning part. Now, when we come into the evening, one of the great things to do, remember that timing of eating 3 to 4 hours before bed? One of the best things you can do after you eat at nighttime, take a walk, 10-minute walk. Okay. A nice brisk walk while the sun is setting. An hour before the sun is setting, we want to get our eyeballs to the sun. Because again, that tells our central nervous system through our eyeballs, oh, we get it. Sleep is coming. So it's going to start producing melatonin, which is the sleep hormone to get you to bed. Now, if we do all that and then we come back into our house and now the sun is set and we go, cool, let's turn on all the overhead lights, LED blue lights, which is what most houses are going to have. You are now reversing what you're doing. It's going to put the e-brake on melatonin because all of a sudden your central nervous system is going to go, whoa, It's middle of the day again because blue light is in the middle of the day. That's when blue light has the highest UV rays, is in the middle of the day. So your body's gonna go, oh shoot, we gotta be awake. It's middle of the day. It's time to go hunt. It's time to go work. So being really careful of how you're utilizing those lights. So some of the things that we suggest is you can do some of those Edison bulbs or incandescent lights that have that orange hue.
Mm-hmm.
You can even do red lights if you really want to get geeky. That's something that Emily really likes. She's a red light girl.
Well, there's even orange, red. There's lots of companies out there now doing literal lights that don't have any blue light. Again, that help block those things.
Yep. And good old classic candles, folks. Want to set the mood for sleep? I light candles every single night, and whew, is it fantastic. So being very careful of your lighting. I don't know how many homes I've gone to and done a home check. Yeah, I come to your home. And it is like an hour before bed. And it's like we're in a medical office. There's so many dang lights on. I'm like, no wonder you're not tired.
Totally. And it might not seem like that significant, but I made this change a few years ago and it's huge.
Massive. So really be careful with your lighting. So timing's one, lighting's one. What else, Emily?
Yeah. So, and to track back to lighting, it could be floor lamp or table lamps. That's better than the overhead lamps. It could be the Casper light that I've talked about several times that I absolutely love. Joel has a dimmer light as well, right?
Yep.
It could be any of those options, candlelight, putting the red bulbs at least in your bedroom or in the bathroom if you get up in the middle of the night, right? All those little things, try something. My favorite actually is, at a minimum, I have my blue light blocking glasses on that are an orange tint. Those are easy to get, and that blocks out. If you do have overhead lights, at least like right now that you can't change, but you need some light, put those glasses on. That'll at least protect you a little bit, and it makes a big difference. After that, we have some options and we like to classify this as the senses, right? What are we feeling? What are we smelling? What are the noises around us, right? These things can help bring us back to be present, be mindful, and start calming our body and bringing down. And so some things, right? So we talked about, we want to make sure that we're actually not moving too much before the 2 hours before bedtime, not getting our internal body temperature up too high. For best optimal sleep, we want our body to be actually at a cooler temperature. So oddly enough, things that help with that to help get our internal body temperature decrease, so at a cooler level, is to take a hot shower, to take a bath. If you're lucky enough like me, to take a sauna, right? So some kind of warmth to your skin, because your body acts like a thermostat, right? If the thermostat in your house and notices that it's too hot, it won't kick the heat on. Same thing with your body. And that's why the hot external to your body can be helpful. But when you're working out, when you're moving your body too much, that's increasing the internal body temperature. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes a ton of sense.
Yeah. So that's one thing when it comes to the senses, right? What are we doing with our skin and our body? Are we getting upregulated with that internal body temperature, or are we downregulating with that external heat, ideally? Right. And then I know you use aromatherapy, right?
Love my diffuser. I'll do a little French lavender and a little bit of vanilla. Just turn that sucker on an hour before and just it's beautiful.
So that's another tool to help trigger to your brain, hey, it's bedtime, I'm going to start calming down. There's other options, right, of the sounds, whether it be in your Insight Timer app or the rain setting in your phone, right, or even YouTube, right? Something super simple. Something, again, to help trigger yourself to be like, oh, no, this is a calming time. I'm going to start settling down. And also you have red light therapy for your face, right? So I have my sauna that has red light therapy in it, right? These are the things to go above and beyond, right? If you have the opportunity to purchase them, to prioritize them, red light therapy, that's a helpful calming activity to do. And then sitting outside. So you talked about You talked about getting your eye, if you can go on a walk after dinner. Again, sometimes that's not always ideal with kids in a family, but something that we do if the weather is, if we can do it, even if we put a jacket and hat and mittens on, we go play outside for a few minutes. Right. So if you can get outside, that can again trigger to your eyes, which triggers to your brain where the lighting's at, to be like, okay, increase melatonin, decrease cortisol.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and when it comes to the senses, guys, there's a reason you like going to spas. Think about a spa. You go in there. What does it smell like? What does it look like? Right? How do the sheets feel? I mean, I literally tried to create my household as if it was a spa. I got rain going in the background. I got aromatherapy. I got salt lamps, right, around the house. So you come into my house at that time, you're gonna be like, man, this is fantastic, right? A little grounding mat to be able to ground. I mean, getting into it. Think about making your household that when it's time, hour before bed, turns into a spa. That's why we love going to spas, because like, oh, this is so relaxing. Well, all they do is they're playing nature music. They have a diffuser and they got salt lamps all over the place. You can do the same dang thing. Okay, make it nice for yourself. Not a medical room with 15 overhead LED lights on, and loud country music playing in the background, and your favorite show blasting on the TV. Good luck going to sleep with that.
Agreed.
So we've covered that timing is important, lighting is important, being able to touch into the senses and get into your body, out of the mind, into the body. The more you can focus on those senses, the more your body starts relaxing more and more and more. The more we're into the head, the more that the body is out of tuned, so it's not ready to go to sleep. So think about that, really getting touch to your senses, even just sitting outside and allowing yourself to go, what do I feel? What's the temperature on my skin? Is there a breeze across my forehead or my neck? What do I hear? What do I smell? Even, can you open up your mouth? Is there anything you can taste? Tuning into those senses gets you really relaxed. It's a really easy way to be able to do it. Can you imagine me sitting outside with my mouth open, just like,
yes, I can.
yes, you can. And the last piece, guys, is having a nighttime, what we like to call a nighttime hobby. And that could be anything from reading to journaling, stretching, breath work. I like to do what's called candle gazing. Okay, that's where my candle's lit and I'm just watching the flame flicker. Again, these are things that are going to be conducive to continue and allow that melatonin to drop or to increase, right? Cortisol levels to drop. So everybody has their own nighttime routine or nighttime hobby. Some are better than the others. Some people are like, oh, I'm going to watch my favorite show. And 5 episodes later, and it's 11:30 at night because you want to watch the next episode, and you're getting LED blasting into your eyeballs. So your melatonin is decreasing. It can decrease by 50% when you're getting LED light or blue light. So it's doubling the time that would make you feel tired. That's why you get done with one of the episodes. Not only is it stimulating, particularly if you're watching something like Yellowstone, right? Oh, and people are getting freaking, yeah, people are getting shot and murdered and all kinds of different stuff. You're like,
yeah, I can't do that.
I wonder what's going to happen next episode. Are they alive or not alive? Well, there's just one more. We'll do one more. Okay. Right. Careful.
And I get it. Because there actually are some TV shows that have helped me in the past to calm down my brain. Yet remembering what's actually at the root cause, can we do what we've talked about previously in terms of getting into our senses, turning the lights down, do something perhaps more calming. But I know a lot of people use TV to help shut their brain off because they have what we can call monkey brain at night. But again, it's going back to all the things we've said before. Well, why is that, right? Can we do a mind dump by journaling, right? Write down all the things that are on your mind, the to-dos, whatever it is. So we can put that perhaps even in the calendar so we can stop thinking about it temporarily, right? And so there's all these different things we can do. But I get it. If there's a time and place where there's an easy, relaxing TV show to get your mind off something temporarily, I'm guilty of that from time to time. But I think there's certain times that it is appropriate, but with things in mind, right? I have a cutoff point, and usually it's 1 or 2 shows max. I have my blue light blocking glasses on, and then I still go to bed and do something calming, whether it be reading my book, right? Take a warm shower, something like that afterwards, and leaving myself enough time for that.
Or you're like Joel and you have no Netflix, no subscriptions, and you disconnect your cable.
Which is great.
It's just great. A little, listen, guys, I'm the exception when it comes to that. But I'm not saying that that's what you should do. Being able to watch a TV show with your significant other is awesome. And I highly suggest you do it. Just the dosage, careful of the dosage, right?
Exactly.
Okay. So now we have a baseline of an evening routine, guys. If you have any questions about this, please let us know. Let's talk about our routines, our evening routines, what they look like. Say even like last night. What was your evening routine last night?
Yeah, man, mine's changed so much in the past few years and even in the past few months, right? Because Joel and I both like to experiment. We're curious cats. And so, okay, last night. So our goal is to have dinner by 5:30, right? We have a 2-year-old. His bedtime is 7:30. So we have dinner, we play a little bit, right? And I should mention, because we did not talk about this when it comes to timing, that dinner time, if you notice yourself getting home late, your dinner time starts to become later and later, that's usually a big sign for me to be like, okay, what's going on in my day to where I'm getting home late? Am I working too much? Is there too much on my plate in my schedule? Am I getting to my workout? Like whatever it is, start tuning into making sure that your dinner time is on time. So again, 5:30 is when we have our dinner. Then we play a little bit, and whether it be bath time or something that's more calming, like reading books or just sitting on the ground with my son, playing on the floor, we get into a more calming routine the hour before his bedtime. And so we do that. We put him to bed. My husband and I, we read him a book together, and then we take turns actually putting him to bed by 7:30. Sometimes it's to 8 p.m. And so then one of us will put him to bed, and one of us will go take a shower. One of us will oftentimes go to our red light sauna, spend 15, 20 minutes in there. And then we go to our nighttime hobby, right? Well, and within that time period, I've put my blue light blocking glasses on and took my contacts out. I have my Casper light. We've turned off all the lights. We have like a little light in our kitchen that we use. And then I use my Casper light to walk around with me throughout the house. There may be some things where I have to button up, right? Like dishes, put a couple things away after we put our child down. Yet otherwise, I'm finding my hobby to go to, right? After my shower, after the sauna, whatever that may be. So sometimes that's reading. Like last night was reading. I went into bed at about 8:30 and I read for about a half hour. I wanted to keep reading. I probably have a book that's a little too stimulating. I'm recognizing this because then my mind was on for like 15 minutes afterwards thinking about it, like all the things I just read and just wanting to read more.
What was it? What were you reading?
Is it called Attached?
Yes, I was reading it too last night. I get going with that.
Oh, it's good.
It's a good book, you guys. If you haven't read that book and you're in a relationship or want to be in a relationship, read that book, Attached.
Yeah, and if you have kids, it's good.
Yeah,
in that
big
perspective
time.
too. So yeah, I'm probably missing something, but that's the gist of it. We ate 5:30, yeah, and then I took a shower in there too. So I think I mentioned that. So yeah,
beautiful.
And then lights out was around 9.
Ooh, nice, good for you.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, with the time change, I'm really trying here.
yeah, I'm like a 9:30-10 guy. I'm a 9:30-10 guy.
Okay. So what about you then?
That's a great routine. So for me, my usual wind down routine, very similar. I'm usually in bed by between 9:30 and 10, which means that I'm eating at between 6 and 7 is my timing to eat. After I eat, I really try to go for a walk. It's much easier during the summertime than it is during the wintertime. I did the wintertime walks. Yet it was really challenging at times when it was snowing outside and it was 20 degrees. It's like,
So I could wake you
yeah,
up.
yeah. Yet now I've been walking. I did a walk just the other day because I ate a little bit later and I really wanted to help digest my food. So I actually went for like a 15-minute walk, which
Yeah.
really does help to be able to help wind down. After I eat, that's when I start turning down the lights. So I take care of button up the stuff, just like you were talking about. I'll have the overhead lights on. I'll be cleaning up stuff, but usually 7:30. Now I go to all incandescent lights. So I have all incandescent lights that are on, those orange lights, you guys. And then around 8 o'clock, incandescent lights go off, salt light lamps turn on, along with candles. And then I hit my aromatherapy. So right around between 8 and 8:30 is when I start that, ooh, time to make it a spa. And I turn on the rain music. My phone is already black and white or red screen at that point. And then I plug it in. I have an automatic 8:30 shuts everything off, so I'm not getting any notifications. That's when I plug it in is 8:30. 8:30, that's when I go to start taking my shower. So I take a nice long hot shower, clean up for the evening, and then after that, that's when I'll start stretching. So I'll stretch. I'll use a grounding mat. So now I'm grounding right before bed, along with doing some stretching, and I'll be working on my breath the entire time. So just taking some deep breaths through that. And then after that, I like doing my red light therapy. So I have a mask for my face that I throw on and do red light therapy with. And it's 10 minutes long. And I'm just focusing on my breath. I put my hand on my chest, my belly. And I just go through deep breaths. And then the cool thing about this is that when it shuts off, it goes from like red, and you can kind of see it in your eyes, right? To just like black. And there's something about when it shuts off, you just like sink deeper. It's a really cool experience. I really like it. And then after that, depending on, where I'm at, sometimes I'm like, I'm knocking out, like I'm already at that point. Then it's time to throw on some Fatco on the face, do put my intake nose dilator, and then throw on some mouth tape.
Yeah, I forgot that part.
Ooh,
For
yeah.
sure.
And I'm like, okay, air filter is on. Okay, my room's being air filtered. It's at the perfect temperature. I got my 8 sleep cooling down. I mean, I get
What do you
real
keep your
geeky.
temperature out at in your house?
I don't
I
turn
forgot
on.
to mention that cool environment.
Yeah, I don't turn on my heater all throughout the year. So there'll be times where my house is like 58 degrees.
Ooh.
It doesn't really work when there's a female in my life.
I can see that.
They're just like 58 degrees. Are you kidding me? And I'm like, okay, I'll turn on the heater. Yeah, and there are times where I'm like, oh, it's 57 in here. Like, it's quite chilly, and I'm walking around in my boxers, being like, oh man, this is a little chilly. Yet I keep my room at 60, between 65 and 67. That's also wintertime, summertime. It's at 65 or 67 always.
But how is it there if you don't turn your heat on?
I have a little space heater.
Oh, gotcha.
In my room, because if not, then it gets actually too cold, which can disrupt my sleep. So I have one that I set at about 67 degrees, and it just turns on occasionally throughout the night.
Okay.
And so that's my wind down routine.
I like it. There may be some of you out there being like, wow, that's next level. It is. That's okay. I highly recommend you try one of these things.
Mm-hmm.
Man, when I like, for example, when I started doing the blue light blocking glasses, when I started doing the sauna, holy moly, some kind of heat therapy to your skin, it is a huge game changer.
Big time.
And the last thing I forgot to mention were supplements. Right. So I'll take an hour right after I put my son down. So around 7:38, I'll take my supplements. So for me, the nighttime supplements are magnesium glycinate. I take 400 milligrams because my blood work, my lab work, it's actually a hair test, shows that I'm low in magnesium. So I take 400, sometimes 600 to 800 if it's right before my period. I also will sometimes take glycine and inositol and L-theanine. Those are also known to help. If I feel that monkey brain going on, I'll take those. Otherwise, it's just for sure the magnesium. And then I have a few other supplements going on, like my medication for my seizures and some other things. But for sleep specific, that magnesium is 99% people should be taking that because most of us are deficient, and it really helps with quality sleep.
Oh, man. Yeah, I'm glad you touched that because there's actually been times where I woke up in the middle of the night and I could feel like, oh, I need magnesium. And I would get up and take 400 milligrams of magnesium glycinate, and I would feel my heart settle, and I would get, and I'd go back to sleep. I mean,
if your body's restless, it's huge. Yeah.
Big time. Big time.
And I noticed if I'm like having after dinner treat cravings, and I did eat well throughout the day, did stay hydrated, that's when I'm like, oh, I probably need more magnesium.
Yep.
And sure enough, if I do it consistently at high levels for a few days, I notice a difference.
Big time. Big time. Yeah. If you're feeling anxious or anything else like that, like that magnesium glycinate, I've been real anxious the last 3-4 days, and really in my body, not like my mind. I'm like, what is going on here? And I've been out of element, and I was low on magnesium glycinate. So I was kind of like, oh, I'll take 200, and then I got my new bottle, and I was like, oh, I'm going to take 500 milligrams. And I took 500 milligrams the last couple of days. I'm like, oh, look at that. Feeling a lot better. So,
yeah. And if you wake up that classic time between 1 and 4 a.m., it likely is due to either a couple different reasons, but the main ones being mineral deficiency. So that magnesium could be salt or potassium too. Those are the most common. That's why we love element and magnesium glycinate. It could be that your liver's perhaps stressed a little bit. That could be from blood sugar dysregulation. That could be from chemical overload, things like perfumes, alcohol, cleaners in your house, candles, the candles that are scented, the fragrance. Those things could be overburdening your liver and causing you to wake up around that time because that's when your liver's doing most of its detoxification. Could be, lastly, stress issues, right? Hormone imbalance, specifically with cortisol, right? If you're chronically stressed, our body is out of whack with its cortisol levels, and it could be waking you up that way too.
Yeah.
So last tidbit in terms of if you get that middle of the night wake up, those are some of the things to start looking at.
Well, and that's another, win towards heat therapy before bed is that your skin is a big detoxer, right? Your liver is the number one, but your skin's the number two in terms of detoxing. And so being able to get a sweat, you're helping to take off some of that load on your liver by sweating out. And you're pushing all your blood to your extremities because your skin is hot. And so all your blood is going to your extremities to try to cool down your skin, which means that your internal temperature is actually decreasing because the blood is away. It's at your skin. That's why you go flush or your skin turns red because there's so much blood, right? At that surface level. So another win towards doing some heat therapy before bed.
Just 10-minute bath.
10-minute bathy-roo. So let me ask you this, Emily. We're going to wrap this up. What would you say? I mean, we threw out a lot. And like you said, man, when you heard mine and I'm like taping my mouth and my nose and I got red light therapy and I'm grounding and I'm breath work and candle gazing and there's rain in the background with my Bose radio, right? You guys are like, damn, I want to come over to Joel's house to calm down. Yes, it's called the dojo and you're more welcome to come over. Okay. just not during my sleep time. What would you suggest? What would be the top 3 things that you would suggest to help people get started on a optimal evening routine?
Number 1, light exposure. Turn down the lights,
Mm-hmm.
whether it be your phone, your overhead lights, do something there
Mm-hmm.
to minimize light exposure 2 hours before your bed time. The next, I think, temperature, whether that be cool down the temperature in your room or get a little bit of external heat before bed, whether it be the bath, the sauna, the red light, whatever that is for you, something simple. And thirdly, well, this is tough.
Yeah, it is.
I'd say as the nutritionist, for most people, it's not eating a big meal too close to bedtime because we know that digestion, if your body's trying to digest too much as you're going to bed, it's going to be really tough for quality sleep, but also not good for your digestion.
Right.
That's why I hear a lot of people say, oh, I wake up feeling really bloated or have even heartburn or acid reflux right when I wake up.
Mm-hmm.
Or you're just like not hungry for a long time, like feeling not just not hungry, but like really full. It could just be that we're eating too much, too close to bedtime.
Yeah.
Now, there are some people, I'm going on a side tangent, but there are some people who, if they're at those high stress levels and they're working their way to manage those back down, we may need a little snack before bed if you are waking up at that 1 to 4 a.m. time. Because it could be your blood sugars dysregulated from the cortisol levels.
Yeah.
Being dysregulated. So for a period of time, you may need like a high protein, high fat snack right before bed. But again, that's going to be a small snack, not a big meal.
Right. I mean, it depends. Emily's number 1 saying, okay, we've been working on our evening routines. I mean, for me, for years and years and years and years and years, right? And that is the whole point of having a coach or a mentor, is that we've already put in the reps. So we help you to get to optimal health quicker. That's the whole point that you pay for things. And we would love to be able to help you if you're ready to make the change. Because when you come work with us, it's a full change. Mentally, emotionally, physically, nutritionally, everything. And if that makes you nervous, well, maybe you're not ready, or maybe you are. And if you are, go to www.proclivity.co, book a call with us. We'd love to chat with you. Coach Emily, anything else on evening routines?
Not on evening routines, but if you guys do have questions, please let us know. We could keep going on and on and on. I will say, if you're listening to this and you've already done our Proclivity method, you've already talked to us, we ask that you share. If you like our podcast, please share or leave a review. It really means a lot to us. It helps us thrive and get the word out to more people. So we'd really appreciate that. If you want one good deed for your day, go ahead and leave us a review or share it with someone.
It sounds so much nicer when you ask. We should have you ask every time. Like, I want to leave a review. I think when I talk, people are just like, oh, here's Joel just talking again in his announcer voice. You're all sweet and nice. All right. Enough's enough. You guys, thank you once again for tuning in to the Proclivity podcast. It really means a lot to Emily and I that you guys put your trust in us and listen to us. Like Emily said, like, subscribe, share it with friends. We'd really appreciate it. We hope that you guys have an incredible week, day, wherever you're at. And we look forward to hearing. No, you're going to hear from us. We look forward to speaking to you next time.
Again. Or we could hear from you if you leave a review.
Oh, boom. Or you can actually watch us on YouTube as well. Man, but until next time.
Best day ever.
Best day ever. Emily. I got a question for you.
Yes.
If you could only operate or only use one piece of what's my question here? One like travel machinery. This is making total sense.
Transportation device.
you could only use one transportation device the rest of your life, what would it be? So you could only fly, right? You could only use an airplane. You could only use a car. You could only use a train. You could only use a motorcycle. You could only use. What
I
would
think
you use?
I would choose a car.
Never
I'm
fly
okay
again.
with, yeah, I'd be okay with that.
Never leave the United States. You'd be stuck on an island.
I mean, yeah, I'm thinking about day-to-day life. Cars are very helpful.
Cars are very helpful. You're right.
I can't fly an airplane across town.
Maybe you had a helicopter. Could you imagine being like going to pick up
I didn't
Dansby
think
and
of
you're
that.
coming down to like in the schoolyard? Dansby,
I
come
did not
on,
think of
hop
that.
in, keep your head low.
Although they do make me nervous. There's definitely a higher rate of crashes for those. So
That's true. We'll stick with cars then.
yeah. Because I don't think helicopters can go super long distances, anyways. Right? It depends on the helicopter, I guess.
I guess. I don't know. That was a great question.
What would you choose?
I would choose a motorcycle with wings.
Yeah, you're definitely single right now. With wings.
With wings, so it just like shoots out, and then I can start flying around.
Okay, we need to add a spot on the back for your future wife and a sidecar for your future kid.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay,
sure.
Cool. I like it.
Yeah. I
Like
mean,
Harry Potter.
Yeah, it's exactly like Harry Potter.
I like that. Yeah.
Perfect.
Okay.
Well, you guys let us know. If you've listened this far, let us know what you would pick. Put it in a review. When we see it, we're going to send you a box element. Just like that. No matter where you're at, we'll send you a box and element. Is that it?
That's it.
Game
excited
time.
To see. Yeah, I'm excited to see you guys, your response.
She is so excited. I'm pretty sure everybody's going to say car. I got to think of these questions a little bit more deeper before I get on.
That's okay.
I appreciate it. Let's go run.
Bye.
Bye.